I'll admit, I've never been a big fan on the Heisei Era's take on King Ghidorah. I'm all for trying new things, especially in a franchise that's over 6 decades old, but the decision by director Kazuki Omori to strip away Ghidorah's alien origins was handled poorly in my opinion. The space background to Ghidorah added to its mythos. Imagine a dragon kaiju that would not only be able to easily destroy its own world, but one that could fly to countless other worlds and bring the same kind of destruction. Evil on a universal scale. The end product of the Heisei King Ghidorah does look amazing though, but I can't help but wonder if it wasn't able to do much damage against Godzilla even in mecha form due to what I would call inferior beginnings. As it turns out, Toho may have felt the same way about Ghidorah, with a few attempts at redeeming the three-headed monster that unfortunately evolved into other Godzilla films. So today, I want to talk about the Heisei Ghidorah that could have been, the true king, and the emperor. I've always found novelizations of movies to be really interesting, as they often expand on ideas from the films and sometimes will even make changes, large and small, to the film that it's based on. Now I don't know if the Japanese novelization for Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah was made before or after the film's final script was done, but it does make one change that has huge implications for King Ghidorah, if included in the movie. In the book, the corpse of a truly alien King Ghidorah would be discovered on the planet Venus by the Futurians. They would then take its DNA to create the Ghidorahs, who would later merge to form King Ghidorah. Now this change still involves the Ghidorahs, and it still makes this version of King Ghidorah out to be engineered, yet it's done with the real King Ghidorah's DNA. But as interesting as this inclusion into the novelization was, it would be the two unmade Ghidorah film concepts that would really intrigue me. Godzilla scripts will often begin with certain kaiju and end up with completely different ones by the final product. Well, these two cases are no different. In the early stage of development for Godzilla vs. Mothra, the film was meant to be called The Return of King Ghidorah, or King Ghidorah's Counterattack. Meant to be a sequel to Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, we would see the three-headed monster return, but this time it would come from outer space intent on destroying Earth. So why was The Return of King Ghidorah turned into another movie? Well, according to Koichi Kawakita, a poll at the time listed Mothra as the favorite kaiju of female fans, and it would have been too easy to simply bring King Ghidorah back. Later on in the workings for Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, before Crystal and Astro Godzilla, was Ghidorah, and not just any incarnation of Ghidorah either, but Emperor Ghidorah. That's right, we almost got a second try at giving us an alien version of the three-headed monster in the Heisei Era. In this early draft, instead of Space Godzilla, Godzilla's foe would be the Emperor Ghidorah. Unfortunately, very little is known about this kaiju. No concept art or descriptions of it were ever made that are known of, yet it was supposed to have gravity beams that could actually lift objects like their name would imply. A concept that would be used by Space Godzilla and likely inspire Kaiser Ghidorah in both name and gravity beam abilities. Unfortunately, this incarnation of Ghidorah would evolve into Space Godzilla when the execs at Toho decided that the Emperor would be too similar to Orochi, the 8-headed dragon whose film was coming out around the same time. I really do wish that either of these Ghidorah projects would have been made, especially the Emperor one. Do you agree with me that the novelization's added inclusion of DNA taken from an alien Ghidorah would have made for a better origin story? Or would the fact that the Ghidorahs were still part of the process make the Heisei 3G out to still be an inferior product? Am I wrong in hating the Ghidorahs? I'd love to hear your answers to these questions as well as your thoughts on these unmade Ghidorah projects. Take care guys, and I hope to see you next time.